You know, people, it's so easy to get God misunderstood. You see, God didn't even have to give the king of Samaria a heads up. He didn't have to tell him nothing. He could have just left it at that. But he always warns every creature that walks this earth that there's a God in Israel. Throughout the Bible, he have done things like this over and over again. Do y'all know that Nebuchadnezzar was God's servant? A lot of people don't believe that. But God said, I think with this. I know the thoughts I have towards you. To give you an expected end. You know, everybody knows Jeremiah 29:11. Now think, when he had the children of Israel be delivered into the hand of Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon. He knew, but it's like so many different, Nebuchadnezzar, but Nebuchadnezzar, or one of them, I can't remember which one. One of them repented, because God had a plan for him. He showed him his evil ways. But one of the sons, he killed the one that took his place. He killed one of them. He died because of how hard and rude he was. But you ever notice there's always a pattern. When people come to God, when God come to people and they repent and they ask for forgiveness, God gives it to them. Ahab was one. God told Ahab he's going to die. Ahab repented. And God repented. He still died, but he repented. Do you understand, people? He said God is slow to anger. But you know what's an old saying, and I got to say it the way we say it. That your parents used to say, tell you all back in the day. A hard head make a soft ass. You know how many hard heads had to get spanked by the Lord? But you know how many hard heads that's been changed by the Lord? Think in regards to Pharaoh. Let my people go. Simple. He wanted to have a whole competition with God. My people can turn a staff into a snake too. But watch how the Lord's staff and serpent eat theirs. My magician can turn the river red too. He wanted to compete with God because he thought he was a God. Same with this guy. Think he's God. Trying to destroy Elijah. Oh, it ain't happening. You know, Elijah had a fearful moment though. And people were like, man, no way. This ain't the first time fire came down from heaven and birthed up some folks on Elijah's behalf. This happened before. With all the prophets of Baal. Elijah made fun of him. Maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he's on a trip. Then when we were talking about Baal, maybe he's sleeping. Maybe he's on a vacation. But you know, after that, Jezebel was like, I want to kill him. And Elijah fled. You know, he's a man just like anybody else. But God comforted him and brought him a replacement. But Elijah was, if you read the story of Elijah, he was like, you could tell the Holy Spirit was on him because the acts that he did were so similar to the things that Jesus Christ would do later on. It was a lot of, this is the first time you really see healing in the Old Testament, was through Elijah. That's why the Bible always says God is the same yesterday, whatever, tomorrow, for eternity. Because he's been doing the same thing forever. You see, these are just stories that we know about. Don't tell them what the Lord did, because I guarantee you, it couldn't have been it's not a book big enough to contain the acts of God and the kindness of God and the healings of God. It's not a book out there that contains everything that the Lord has done. You know that? Not a book that shows it. But the book enough. That's why the people been telling me lately, basic instructions before leaving earth. Y'all better take heed to these basic instructions. You know, many don't want to. Many want to die in their sins, or gonna die in their sins. You see, every time God don't come to you and be like, return to me. Sometimes he come to you, I'm finna kill you. And I ain't gonna say that. I'm finna destroy you. You're gonna die. Somebody come to you and tell you something like that, then they say the Lord told them, then you better take heed. That's all I'm trying to tell you. A lot of y'all, that's the only message y'all get. I had a friend a few years ago get out of jail. And he always had a problem with women friends. I even told him sometimes, man, try to be by yourself sometimes. You know, but as soon as he got out of jail and I found out, I called my employee because I knew he was in the vehicle with him. I was like, hey, man, let me speak to Tyrone. And the Lord put it in my mind, telling, hey, man, be careful of these women, man. You know, you need to just focus on yourself and this and that and all that. And the third. I didn't say turn his life over to God. But first of all, he already know I preach the gospel. I spread the gospel. So I had told him about God plenty of times. So he knew what type of person I was. So I told him that, right? He didn't take heed. You know what I'm saying? He didn't take heed. He's in jail right now. He's in jail right now behind a woman. And I wasn't the only person. When I tell you, everybody that I know who, when he got out of jail, the first time, came to him and warned him. Everybody. I never seen somebody get that many warnings in my life. As I have, me. Houston Beard, you get warnings too. You see, that's what I'm trying to tell you people. Sometimes don't come give your life to me. He wants you to do it on your own. Sometimes. Actually, all the time. The Lord didn't ask me to come to him. Do you know that? He just revealed some things to me. He revealed some things in my life. That's exactly what he did. That's what the Lord did for me. That's how he revealed himself to me. He revealed things to me. And I started listening to that still voice. And I went to church on my own. I'm sure I was led there, but some told me to go there. It wasn't like he forced me though. I knew I was living wrong. I was turning my back on God slowly but surely, believing in other ways and other religions. There's got to be multiple ways to get there. I was on a path headed straight for destruction. You know, people, I'm telling you, y'all better be careful out here. You know, I've been set on fire before. A tempest came my way. All kind of things in my life. You understand? That's why I know the Lord don't play. I know he don't play. You know, most people are tempest, a tornado come, they blame the devil. I don't think the devil has power over tornadoes, so I ain't even worried about that. I know who brought that on. Sometimes you got to accept that. It was the Lord. Accept that it was the Lord. It's very simple. Accept it. But we live in a stubborn and rebellious generation. Nobody wants to call on the Lord. Don't tell her how many people send in your life. I know people that the Lord assists them all the time in regards to different things. Through a church or through other people who believe, right? I just don't believe in them. How many messages do you need? You understand? What? I'm just for real. But I can't get mad at them because I was the same way. I'm sure the Lord like, God, at least Houston. You know me. You was raised in the church. You was raised in the church, Houston McCullum. Why you let somebody seduce you to worship something else? And I was getting close to it, man. I was getting close to it. I believe a lot of things that I go through right now because of my past, and I don't care what nobody says. I believe in reaping what you sow. I believe my battles are so tough, and God makes it a little harder for me, so I won't return or try to go back another route than his route. And I'm fine with that. You understand? He saved me. Like I said, he could have saved this king too. He could have repented. Read your Bible, see how many people who repented and God changed his mind. To show his mercy towards people. But in this case, after all that, after the warnings, after the fire coming down, after fire coming down on another troop, and then after your men submitting to the Lord through Elijah, and you still ain't paying attention. Y'all ain't paying attention. That's what a lot of people, me too included at one point in time. God said probably showed you so much, or gave you so many warnings and so many answers that he is real, that he exists. And people just turn the blind eye to it. You think people who do tarot cards don't believe in God? Yes, they do. They just don't believe. They don't trust in him, no. They believe. You know, all witches believe in God. They just don't want to serve him. They do. All sorcerers do. Satanists believe in God. I'm going to tell you how you know. In order to believe in Satan, they got to believe in God. You think these people don't know? Just like I knew. And I was still headed in the wrong direction. Glory be to God that he converted me. Actually, he converted me back. Because I already knew God. After all that he did for me when I was in the military, brought me back with no injured bones or nothing. Who would have known a few years later, I'm thinking about changing my religion. And I was almost there. And I tell people about this story. I tell people about things of such. You know, a lot of people are being intrigued by this other doctrine, these other ways of spirituality. And they're going to bring upon themselves swift destruction. I know this, people. God could have took me out in my sinful nature when I started. Now, I never did no spells or nothing like that, but it was like I did the salt around the doors and stuff like that, and what they told me to do to ward off evil spirits and stuff, and none of that was working. I'm like, hey, I got to go back to the source, and that's what I chose to do. It's like, I tell the people the story all the time. God showed me the darkness to bring me back to the light. I'm telling you the truth, and this is no lie. Demons, shadowy figures all over, all kind of crazy stuff happening. It scared me to him. God, he said, the fear of the Lord is beginning understanding. You understand? Let me pause now. We'll continue.